Hello and welcome to the new segment of The Trout Show, Vinyl to Viral. On our show we'll talk about all things music from the beginning of the first recordings to what's current in the music world. We'll cover the famous artists of the past through those that are big names in the music business now. Plus a few facts about the business of music sprinkled in. Now here's your host, producer, songwriter, creator, and a guy that loves to turn his amp to 11, Rick Troutman aka The Trout. Take it away, Trout.
Thank you so much for that intro, and welcome to Vinyl to Viral, a segment of the Trout Show podcast. Normally, if you're listening to this channel, you're hearing famous or independent artists being introduced and talked to about their life in the music industry. This segment, we talk about everything to do with music. The history of music, things that are important to the music industry, and things that are important to you as a music lover. Today's episode features something that everybody uses every single day of their life that was invented in the 1870s. No, it's not the car, but believe me, without it, I wouldn't be talking to you and you wouldn't be listening to any songs out there at all. So up next, who dropped the mic? Right after these words from our supporters.
The Trout Show is supported by David Smith with Edward Jones. David has years of experience of assisting individuals just like you with reaching their financial possibilities. There are times in our life that we come across financial problems and we don't know what to do. Maybe you had a relative that recently passed away and left you a large sum of money. However, you're not clear on what to do. If you live in the continental United States, I suggest you contact David Smith with Edward Jones at 469-372-1587. David can look at your situation and provide his expertise that he has been providing his clients for years. Don't tackle these situations by yourself. Contact David at 469-372-1587 to help you make decisions that are important to your financial situation. That's David Smith with Edward Jones at 469-372-1587.
There's a time in each year that we always hold dear, good old summertime, with the birds and the breezes and sweet-scented breezes, good old summertime. When your day's work is over, then you are in clover, and life is one beautiful rhyme. No trouble annoying, each one is enjoying the good old summertime. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime, strolling through the shady lanes with your baby.
If you ever listen to really old music over 100 years old, music that was recorded back in the early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, you probably say to yourself, why does it sound so bizarre? Why does it sound like they're talking through their nose all the time? Well, it's probably because they hadn't had one important thing that you use every single day of your life, and that's the microphone. Now, you're probably thinking, microphone? Where am I using a microphone? You ever use your phone? There's a microphone on that. I'm talking through a microphone so you can hear me. All the music recorded is done through a microphone. You know, when I was a kid, we used to take two cups, like plastic cups or something similar to that, put a string on it, and one kid would get down to weigh about 10 feet, and we'd talk, and that vibration from each cup could be heard in the other cup. And you know what's funny? The first guy that thought of that idea was back in 1665. That's right. A guy by the name of Robert Hooke is credited in developing the first acoustic cup and string-style phone. It wasn't until 1827 a guy by the name of Sir Charles Wheatstone coined the phrase microphone. Now, I couldn't find any information about where he got the word, but he was also the gentleman that invented the telegraph. And remember, the first time somebody used a telephone, they had to have a microphone. That's probably why you figured out that one of the most prolific inventors of American history, Thomas Edison, was involved with developing a microphone. In 1877, Emile Berliner developed the first what they called a loose contact carbon microphone. And about a year later, Thomas Edison, along with his partner David Edward Hughes, invented a near identical microphone. And interesting enough, Emile Berliner accused Thomas Edison of, hey, you stole my idea. Well, that's where it all ended up in court, and Thomas Edison finally got the patent for the microphone, kind of what we know as of today. And you're probably wondering, once again, why did the music sound so weird in the early 1900s? Well, that's because the microphone, as we know it, wasn't really invented and sophisticated enough. So people like the band that you just got to hearing singing Good Old Summertime would sing into a giant horn. Now, if you've ever seen the logo at RCA with the dog, that's what they sang into. That changed it into vibrations that recorded on a wax cylinder that you could later play on the Victrola. Things have come a long way since then with the microphones. The microphones we have today are so sophisticated, it's really unbelievable. If you've ever stood in front of, and I have, a $10,000 microphone in a recording studio, you'll know what I mean. So every day, you can thank two people, and that's Thomas Edison and Emile Berliner, for the fact that you get to speak into your telephone using a microphone adapted from their first idea back in 1877 and 1878. Up next, what comprises a one-hit wonder? And how many one-hit wonders are there out there? Right after this.
Elevate your music with expert metadata service with Nisco Music. If you're a composer, producer, or songwriter and you want music to be heard by individuals that purchase music for advertisements, television shows, movies, or just about every place that music is played, you'll need to provide metadata about your song. At Nisco Music, our experienced team will ensure your song has the necessary information for discoverability, especially in the area of sync licensing. Let us help you expand your music opportunities. Why wait? The world is waiting for your music. Visit us today at nizcomusic.com. That's Nisco Music. nizcomusic.com.
So have you ever been in your car or you're streaming something? You're most likely going to be in your car listening to music on the radio. And all of a sudden a song comes on and you go, man, I remember that song. And then you start listening to it going, I really like this tune. And then you start thinking about, who was it that did that song? And what happened to him anyway? Well, that's what we call a one-hit wonder. Now, I was looking up information about how many one-hit wonders there are. And I look at it from the 60s to currently 2025, and there's hundreds of them. And a lot of the bands had one hit and then disappeared, which is kind of an interesting thing that happens in the music industry. And you know, you probably can remember some of them yourself, but you may not remember the song until you hear it. In the last 50 years, there have been dozens and hundreds of one-hit wonders. And I think maybe down the road a little bit, we'll look at some of the one-hit wonder bands and where they went after they had their one-hit wonders. It's very fascinating if you ask me. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay, what comprises a one-hit wonder? Well, here's some that happened in the last 30 years. Macarena, Ice Ice Baby, Spirit in the Sky, written by Norman Greenbaum, which has been used so many times in movies and commercials, it's unbelievable. My Sharona by the Knack, Mickey by Tony Basil, Dixie's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, and one of my favorites, Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. I love that tune. I Get Knocked Down, you probably know what it is. Aha, Take On Me, which was a huge hit. And of course, Bobby McFerrin's Don't Worry, Be Happy. That's a lot of one-hit wonders just right there. But there are hundreds of them. And there will probably be even more over the next well, who knows how long we're going to be doing the music the way we're doing it now. So a couple things to remember, folks. When you're using your phone, think Thomas Edison. And when you hear a song you haven't heard for a long time, it's something that impressed you, remember, there was a band that once was a one-hit wonder that made it big and now have disappeared. Well, that's it for this episode of Vinyl to Viral. Hope you enjoyed it, and I got more to come. And if you've got an idea that you'd like to know more about in the music industry, the people that play, drop me a line at rickathetroutshow.com, and I'll do my best to answer your questions and maybe put it on my show in the future. Thanks to my great supporters, David Smith with Edward Jones and Nesco Music. If you're serious about getting your music played on movies, TVs, commercials, anything, check out Nesco Music, NIZCO.com. For more information about The Trout Show, remember, just go to our website at thetroutshow.com. I am The Trout, and like I always say, it's only rock and roll, but I love it. See ya.